Yes, and yes, it was a lone protest against alleged escalating corruption levels in the country. Opposition political party leader of the United Progressive People in the morning of 5th June 2017 staged a one-man protest against what he termed as increasing corruption levels in the country. The UPP president began his protest walk from plot number 1 Independence Avenue or State House at exactly 10:30 hours.
So I'm walking by state because corruption is starting from here, from this State House. Then I'll also go to the Supreme Court. It will be a standby by the gate to insist that Chief Justice Irene Mambirima should appoint a tribunal to probe Dora Syria. Maize Gate is about food for the people of Zambia. That's what the Maize Gate is all about. She cannot say there is no merit as if she were the judge. She's not the judge to tell us. We didn't try to ask the judge, you know. So the tribunal must be appointed. A clean judiciary is good for democracy, free press and human rights. And we are saying let Waka and the HLM also actually be free. This is what we are insisting in our country. So it's a walk by. I want to walk by so that again we can speak from you by the entrance of the house, so that you can speak to the gates.
After addressing journalists that gathered to hear his cause, he then set off with a placard with a clear message to Republican President His Excellency Edgar Chagwa Lungu. As he walked towards the main entrance of State House, armed police and other security personnel appeared and decided to stop him from delivering his message.
So this is our State House, where corruption is starting from in our country. So it's a walk by. All we are trying to do is to urge the president to stop corruption. He has told us, and he spoke from here, that there's so much corruption in the country. And that this corruption is what is causing the trouble that we have in our country. Yes. That which amounts.
Journalists covering the procession from various media institutions in Lusaka were threatened and stopped from filming, taking pictures, or indeed covering Dr. Xaviour Chishimba as they were closely escorted and monitored while being led away from State House main gate. The police threatened to break cameras or indeed any gadget used at the scene. But one journalist managed to capture this unceremonious send-off of the UPP leader at said house.
They are taxpayers who are paying for that money. It's not for you as president. First, sit down, attend to the problems that the people of Zambia are genuinely facing. That's why you're putting this attempt what they're making with the godfather of corruption. The peer band, godfather of corruption. When the people of Zambia said no to them, it's not the party, it's the people who are there. Can't hold meetings now in the country. The same things, the same useless public order act of colonial masters. These things are annoying. God created the nations. He gave the bounds according to the children of Israel. He gave them the nations, he allotted them. Zambia was allotted to us. Chinwe Chalo kan mambanga tafu de pachalo Chino. Set in the blood over Zambia. Corruption. State House is defending corruption. State House is promoting corruption. Now when you become corrupt, I said that the State House is the place of dignity. What president to negotiate deals with the Chaponda? Now, when you are compromised, there is a second at Ximba you are corrupt because I'm talking about your corruption. And now you are using the state against citizens.
After being sent away, the UPP leader, as per tradition, blew his horned trumpet as a number of security personnel feebly watched him leave State House. The next was the country's Supreme Court. His message was clear enough here too. He reiterated his call for Chief Justice Irene Mambirima to appoint a tribunal to probe the alleged maize scandal between Zambia and Malawi.
Yes, so this is a standby by the Supreme Court. So I'm here specifically to insist that the Chief Justice, Irene Mambini, must appoint a tribunal to probe Dora Syria. She should not become the mother of injustices in our country. This Supreme Court you are seeing, the court grounds, the High Court and Supreme Court, it was the British who were sitting on the bench. Now that our country is independent, it's fellow Africans who are sitting at the bench. So we expect justice to come from fellow Africans who are sitting at the bench as judges. The Chief Justice cannot be in the forefront to be telling us that it's okay, let judges pass whatever kind of judgments. People can appeal. Appealing is very costly and too lengthy. So we want a judiciary which is transparent. So we are here to insist, to say, bring back our money. Probe Dora Syria. Let the tribunal be appointed now. And that this is about food for poor Zambians. Maize cake is about food for poor Zambians. His Excellency, Mr. Edgar Chagwalungu, the President of Zambia, has told us that there's so much corruption in his administration. He said huge amounts of money are being deposited in the accounts of ministers. So this is corruption in Zambia. It's no longer about a child which was not born. It's here with us. It came from the mouth of the president. So what we are insisting is that a clean judiciary is good for democracy.
He equally had another message calling for the immediate release of his opposition counterpart, Hakainde Hichilema, of the United Party for National Development, UPND, who was arrested on treason charges.
Free press and human rights. And they are saying free even Hakainde Hichilema. You see, one thing that some of these people don't understand is that today you are Chief Justice, tomorrow you are out. This justice, which are not giving the people of Zambia, one day they will be denied this justice. Nothing is permanent. It's only the kingdom of God which is permanent. So the tribunal must be appointed. The Chief Justice has no power whatsoever to stop the appointment of the tribunal. We didn't write to her as a court. She's not a court herself to be passing judgment that there's no merit. That is judgment. It's abuse of authority of office. She's a candidate for stepping down as Chief Justice. This is totally unacceptable. So we want a Zambia which is clean, a Zambia in which there is speed dispensation of justice. That's why I came to speak to the case. But these people are sitting at the bench. They must take this thing very seriously to allow the people of Zambia to live in a country where they know they can get justice. The cost of food in Zambia is high because of corruption. Look at the back of me. Many young people are not in employment because of injustices. And the Chief Justice says, I will not appoint a tribunal. There are cartels in the grain sector. They are hoarding the maize, they are hoarding the grains so as to fix prices of maize. So this is, and the problem is that this is kind of imposing bans and lifting bans. It's a scandal. It's meant to hoodwink, to make the people of Zambia to think that there's justice when there's no justice at all. That's why we are insisting, as a matter of urgency, that mucharo cha Zambia, mutengo wabunga na ukwela. The cost of living standard, the kwacha has become useless. The kwacha has become useless because of corruption. So this is about the fight against corruption. That's why we want her to appoint the tribunal. Otherwise, we'll be announcing the next step we shall be taking. We don't need to go to court. Otherwise, of course, we have an option to do that, but she must understand that there's no way she's going to beat us, the Attorney General, will win the courts of laws. Because it's in black and white that when she receives the allegation, she must appoint the tribunal.
Well, the protest was not yet over, but continued to Lusaka City Council at the Mayor's Parlor.
So we are here, as you can see, I found that is closed there. Because the Lusaka City Council, especially under this kind of mayor that we have, I thought he was here. I wanted to come and present to him the people's petition from Lubama Market that China Island must go out and that the lease must end now. That's what I wanted to tell you, but it's not you. And that Zambian marketeers must be the ones who must run Lubama Market. Zambia first, and abash the 65-year lease The city council is supposed to be even among the best, paying employers in Zambia. You find that council workers are the lowest paid in Zambia. Because of corruption, money is ending up in the mayor, in the town clerk, and corrupt directors. It should not be like that because of the Chinese corruption. They are allowing the Chinese to take over Zambia, take over the markets. When China is making $14.3 million, that $14.3 million from the market, you can pay council police, you can pay council workers, you can improve their salaries. Everywhere you go to London, go to Europe, go to Israel, go to Mauritius, you find that each and every council worker is properly taken care of. Councils are the biggest employers because there is no corruption. Now, China running a market. Does that make sense in our country? So I came to tell some of these people, the mayor, that you are the mayor. People voted for you to be the mayor, to preside over the interests of the people from the markets. Now, you allow China to come and take over the markets. Zambia ilikuwa chibanza cheshiro. China aisatia mobola aya. Chasala bechibanza. Na nkwat ni kap ya sama tairi shanye. Waita mamenshi ni kap. That's what has become of Zambia. So I wanted to come and tell him, next time I come, I'm going to find the phone to even call him, that I came to give him this, to stop the nonsense of this China Island and all the markets, and to cleanse the council, to stop the corruption. You list this, you list that. In the end, they'll start leasing out the toilets. China, but China is saying, running a fimbusu. That is not right. And that's what we came to tell them. It's totally unacceptable. Zambians are suffering, and we can't allow this to go.
And after the mayor's parlor, the UPP leader continued his charge by meeting China Hainan, a company running Kamala's Lubama market, where some traders are said to have received eviction letters. During his fact-finding mission, he had a meeting with China Hainan Assistant Director, Mr. Peter Jiang. Dr. Chishimba laid his case before the table.
We are fully aware of the disagreement that we do have duly executed between yourselves, China and the Lusaka City Council, I think in 2001. We have all those details. And that, of course, there are some provisions in that clause that the agreement, of course, has to be reviewed every 10 years. Again, that's not for you. Now, that's the interest that I have as a taxpayer and ratepayer in the Lusaka City Council. So I have an interest in everything that the Lusaka City Council is doing in our nation. Now, of particular concern, that's why I'm going to try and find out from you. We just have some reports. Yes. Some people, of course, were evicted after enforcing a court order, but you're also aware of the meeting that took place between China and the affected tenants, chaired by the minister, given Linda. So I want to know is just confirm whether this is true or not and what is the situation.
And Mr. Jiang responded and gave his side.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming. Regarding to the agreement between our company and China and Lusaka City Council, it is now under reviewing. So this one will be done very soon. Okay. Secondly, regarding to the execution by bailiffs, it's government bailiffs. I want to tell you frankly, our company was highly affected because of those tenants in default. Our tenants refused to pay our rentals, even though this is private property. But this is not only the situation. They even took our company to High Court last year. This is the judgment done by High Court last year on June 30, 2016. The judgment stated very clearly, Kamala Shopping World belongs to China Hainan, Xaviour Limited. It is a private owned property. And the tenants who enter inside the agreement with China Hainan with equality need to pay according to what is specified in the agreement. But we are very sorry. Even after the judgment by the High Court, people still refusing to pay. They have many excuses, but after all, no matter what kind of excuses they have, the truth is that they don't want to pay us anything. Most of the tenants, since last year, paid us very little bit money, very little bit. And some tenants even didn't pay me us one kwacha, even one kwacha. It's about 1 year now after the judgment. This is a very disappointing thing. And people don't respect the judgment by High Court, don't respect the laws and regulations. So even it's like this, we still showed our kindness and amicability. Last year, on November, we had the Minister of Local Government and Housing called a meeting. The meeting was held just there. The minister asked requested all the tenants in default come to our company to confirm their arrear and give proper solutions. But the result is that they refuse to do so. They refuse to confirm their arrear. They refuse to pay. Even they don't pay their current rentals for this year. Of course, they will not pay their arrears. And we are very helpless. One is listed there. 2016, empty, no payment at all. No payment. And this year, so this is the way she is paying. So of course she is going to have more and more arrears. Yes. If the truth is that this is 2017. Yes, 2017. The truth is that this is about business. If you enter inside the business, if you can handle it, you do it. If you can't handle it, it's better for you to give it up, right?
We believe in the global village, the free movement of the people. We believe in the unity of each and everybody.
Yes.
As UPP, we are progressive nationalists. We put the country first, and as we put Zambia first, to us, Zambia first means that the people of Zambia, their leaders, and all those who are coming to join us, as we put it legally, to live in Zambia and invest in Zambia, they must put the country, first. As I said, there are some issues that are not really, for you. No, I'm just speaking them as by the way. When I'm talking about even some of the agreements that our governments, enter into, they must put the interest of the people, first as much as possible. And then the people, they are also those who have settled among us, clearly, because there's no country which is an island. So my appeal in my coming here was not actually even like force you to. No, I didn't come for that. What I came to do was to make a personal appeal that please. My heart really was so broken.
We are here to help people, help our Zambia brothers and sisters.
Yes.
But we need to respect each other. So we helped them before. We will help them from now on too.
The UPP leader then had this concluded message of his protest.
This is a clear case of government failure to protect the interests of the people of Zambia. It's the government failure. You can't even blame China either, because the people who are negotiating are those who are in power. How can you go and how can government allow an agreement which is totally in conflict with the law? The law is clear. Subsection 4 of Section 4 of the Bus Stations and Markets Act is clear that councils cannot lease any land or market, shall I say, for more than 14 years. Now here we are. This land we are on, it's like private property now, owned by China for 65 years, when the law says 14 years. Now, projects like this one, you don't go to get foreign investors. You don't need a foreign investor for a shop like this one. The traders, Zambian traders, they can be brought together. They form a cooperative. Government supports them. They can build this.
When leaving Kamala's Lubama market, some traders called for his help, in which a Chinese national is said to have grabbed a cell phone from his employee who had cashed in less 148 kwacha from the Chinese Bonanza gambling business.
I'm
alisho 148 kwacha ngala free we la president la president ya
149 kwacha 149 kwacha
c'est trop scandal so something that is being done in fiction.
It's what you are talking about. Right, bonanza na investor bonanza. You see, these are things that we are talking about. This is not right. You see, dealing in coins, is that investment? Who gave them the license? Is it like Rotary what? Who gave them the license to operate?
Something like that.
Is that why to give on a street like this is a company, a car, they call it a car, an office, ripping off the people of Zambia? And what guarantee is there that they are paying taxes?